Hello and welcome. My name is Jessica Gem. In case you haven't heard me mention it before, I am a big Drawfee fan, and have been for quite a while. If you don't know who they are, and have somehow stumbled across me instead, Drawfee is an art comedy YouTube channel run by Jacob, Julia, Nathan, and Karina, four wonderful and hilarious artists that I look up to a lot. Recently, they did a video which really hit me right in the inspiration. So well, in fact, that it pulled me out of an art slump day. The video is called Drawing Our Hades 2 Godsonas, and I really loved all the concepts and designs they came up with, as well as finding some inspiration of my own. Now, Julia didn't draw in this one, so I could either leave her out or design what I think she would be. I think you can guess what I would pick. More work? Sign me up. Haha. And of course, if I'm already drawing other people's self-inserts, why not add me too? I am insufferable. I hope you enjoy anyways, though. But I'll get into that after the main event. First up was Nathan, as usual, and he designed himself as the deity of bits, like little jokes, scenarios, pranks, going along with mishaps and flubbed speech to banter with your friends. I am super impressed with how perfectly he captured the Hades 2 vibe in this one. The shapes are awesome and the render is so cool. If you want to see the finished versions, check out their video linked below. I don't want to spoil it. I probably relate to Nathan the most personality-wise because he's a soft boy, often confused but still doing his best. And I like his rendering style with the cell shading and thicker lines, because it's similar to the art I used to do a lot more often. Even though my style has changed, I really admire the solid confidence that is needed for clean work, and I think he does an amazing job. I turned the emoji-ish style laughing faces into more historic-looking comedy masks from the comedy and tragedy set. I felt that fit the inspiration of ancient times used in the games. Specifically the Greek deities and mythology they chose. Next was Jacob, and I really liked his concept, but in my mind I had a different idea for the rendering than he actually ended up doing. That happens quite a bit with all the hosts, because as a fellow creative, I get my own vision of what I would do with the sketches versus what they end up doing. It's really interesting, and I may try to re-render some of their sketches for shorts. Might be neat. Anyways, Jacob is the mind of the master, the mastermind, the one who does tech and idea management. He often runs the intros, or well, tries while the others mess around doing bits, and takes care of most of the recording and streaming setup. I didn't love the way the piercings were rendered, and I also felt like he could use some more detail, specifically tattoos since he has a couple, so it could definitely add to the design. I themed them to represent some of the elements that relate back to his theme for his Sona, like a subtle Twitch logo and some play and pause buttons. He also used a robotic-ish type of hand for his content management, but to keep with the ancient fantasy vibe of the game, I made it into magic runes instead, still making them reminiscent of mechanical shapes, but more Grecian style. For Karina's Sona, she made a roguish character who's wearing an animal mask, a little bit more chaotic, and her domain is that of roasting, as in verbal repartee. Basically, she insults you and sets you on fire, literal and figurative roasts, until you die. Kinda like vicious mockery from D&D, but that's without the fire, I guess. She also has a knife, because she deserves it. Slay. Her face is almost completely covered in her piece, but they talked about an alternate sprite for character bonding moments where she tilts up, and you see more of her scampish visage when you give her gifts. That visual was what made me want to do this video in the first place, so of course I had to figure out how to pull that off too. In the end, she was actually the one I had the most trouble with, probably because I was both most interested in drawing her well, and also not as familiar with more lithe forms, as I tend to lean towards chunky and boxy figures, something I should work on for sure. Speaking of working on, I massively admire Karina's anatomy, gestures, poses, style, just all. She's probably the artist I most aspire to be similar to, both in the type of content of her work as well as the total love of drawing all her silly little meow meows in predicaments. Am I too Drawfee-pilled? Nah. Next up was Julia, who didn't make one of her own. There is an actual character in the game that is kind of a Julia claim, which is very her energy, but I wanted to go in a bit of a different direction. For her, I decided to name her Julia the Unknowable, because her sense of humor and thought patterns are truly untenable. Absolute bonkers. Totally out of pocket. There are a few things you'll learn about Julia if you watch Drawfee for any length of time. She likes high collars and cloaks, eyes, weird ideas, celestial imagery, and flowy stuff. Also, her current general use avatar is this mystical smoke with a paper bag head, so definitely gonna make use of that for the direction. I wanted it to suit what she tends to draw for herself, while also fitting in with the others and the style of the game. I gave a nod to her favorite OC, her Blorbo, the one and only Drawtective's Eugene, by adding the style of his collar to the Space Rift cloak. Also, please watch Drawtectives. I just re-binged both Season 1 and 2 in prep for Season 3, which is coming out soon. And last and likely least, moi. I went with gemstone as a base for this one because I felt that her crystals would actually tie in pretty well with the current crew, while also being a unique trait. I didn't have a great idea for her domain or anything, so I'm going with trying your best for this one because that's what this channel is all about. I didn't link much to her design or anything since my idea was so vague, but hey, she's got pretty chains, so that's cool. I looked at a lot of the art for this game and tried to study and emulate the different elements like the line art and shading style, excellent color palettes, and very attractive anatomy. I found a character for reference for each host that closely matched the body types and clothing styles, and based my attempt pretty heavily off of those to capture the look as best I can, while also not spending forever on it. I for sure missed the absolute gorgeousness of the real sprites, but hopefully I paid a flattering homage nonetheless. I've never played these games, and am rather unlikely to, but every time I see bits of playthrough I am enraptured by the beautiful environments, magical art, and excellent voice acting. Truly a masterpiece to behold, and I am so glad I finally had a good reason to try the style. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this dive into Hades. And Drawfee. Mostly Drawfee. That's all for now, so farewell and have a wonderful day. Sorry!